Time to welcome one of my oldest friends. Can I call him one of my oldest friends in snooker? Darren Morgan?
Yes, I think you can just about. There was a time where we were like that, but things are sort of, just
you break
straight.
up. You break up. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. This could be like therapy then, couldn't it? When did we first meet? When you joined the QMAS? Did we meet before you joined the QMAS?
We did. I just won the World Amateur.
Yeah.
And
Nice
I had a meeting up in Scotland with our old manager Ian Doyle.
Yeah.
Went up with my late father. Went up on the night train and decided that I was going to sign up with him.
Yeah. Were you the third after Mike Hallett?
Yeah, it was you, Mike. Well, and Jim Donnelly. I think Jim Donnelly was.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
but
camp.
he was kind of retired, going on the way out kind of thing.
Obviously went up. I didn't see you then when I was up there. I don't think.
Went up to Stirling.
Yeah. And I played a couple of, you had me out on your table, hitting the balls, and I was shocking. I was playing with a new cue and I couldn't make 8. And it was embarrassing. But anyway, he still offered me a contract, so we said yes. The Lion Brown Masters was the first time I met you. We actually flew together.
New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a nice guy this fella is. On the way, so we flew business class all the way there. And then on the way back, you said, we were in economy and we'd done the first all. It was to Honolulu or something. And you went, I'm not having this. I'm not having this. I said, what do you mean? You said, we're upgrading. I said,
play a shot, because I'm going to put a little bit more to that story.
Right, you said, I'm upgrading. And I said, well, I got no money.
Yeah, but the reason I wanted to upgrade is because I'd done my feet in New Zealand.
Well, you had done your feet. You had done your feet in New Zealand, jumping off the bed. I was in the room when you jumped off the bed, playing Kaluki with my Alec.
Being an absolute idiot. I jumped off the bed, slammed my feet on the floor, and done my heels in. I couldn't walk. Was it you I played in the tournament with my foot in an ice bucket?
That was my first match as a professional. Yeah, welcome to the professional game. But when you've gone there, the woman's behind the counter and you've said, how much is it, a business class, I want to upgrade? And she said, that'll be, I think it was something like £1,200 each difference.
In Los Angeles, wasn't it? Pan Am.
I thought, well, I haven't got the money. You said, look, don't worry about it. I'll sort this. And I thought, wow, what a nice guy this Stephen Hendry is. Until I seen my accounts at the end of the year and the £1,200 had been taken back without me knowing. So I thought, nice guy he is.
Yeah, because I'd done my feet in, so I could. I think did I get to someone push me around in a wheelchair? Didn't they in the airport or something?
My memory's not quite as good as it. All I know is
I had acupuncture and everything in New Zealand.
All I know is you still played. Well, you won the tournament. You won it easy, even with your busted ankle. That was good fun, that New Zealand trip. Yeah, we had some good. Yeah, we had a good laugh on it. I can still remember the fella that took us around, Mark Brendan. He loved it, didn't he? He enjoyed it. He was mad.
So take me right back to the beginning of your career. What age did you start playing snooker, or how did you start?
I had a little 2-foot table when I was.
2 foot?
A little.
A tiny
Yeah,
one.
with the little red pockets and tiny balls. I had a little. But I probably started properly around about 14.
Right.
I played pool. My father was captain of a local pool team. And he got permission for me to play. And obviously I did. I played that for two years in the team. And then we went to Barry Butlins because my mother used to love, like she used to love caravan holidays. So one year we would do like Porthcawl in the caravan.
Yeah.
And another year then my dad loved the Butlins. We'd do a Butlins Minehead or Barry. Yeah. Barry was open then.
Yeah.
And we went and had a game, and I had it with the old ivory balls or really bad balls. Cues with a big slip-on ferrules. I had a 39 break, and I'd just been selected to have a trial for Wales. And he said, you're not playing pool anymore, you're going to play snooker. And there was a local club just opened up in Crosskeys, the one I now own, the Red Triangle Snooker Club. Right. And I went there and I started playing there.
Did you play in good shot? Did you play local leagues and stuff then?
Yeah. Well,
it's great because Wales has got a great history of snooker, isn't it? It's great snooker players.
Yeah, really strong.
Especially in the amateur game. I remember I played in the World Amateur 14 in Dublin, and what happened there?
Whew, that was a good one.
And you know, there was Terry Parsons, there was Steve Newbury, there was all these great players from Wales.
I probably started playing.
Usual form.
I know. Well, I never had much fun in our pump playing out. I was always on the other end of an iron. Oh. I probably started. I think last day of being 16, I hit my first century. And I think first day of 17, I hit my second century. And I started playing a couple of junior events like the Welsh Junior and different things. I played in a couple of Pro-Ams. And then... too short.
So what age were you when you were World Amateur Champion?
21.
21.
I won it in the
so
December.
had you won the Welsh National Championship to play in that then?
Yeah, and I won that at 21 as well.
Who would you have like beaten there? Was anyone, any sort of names that turned pro? Or?
Yeah, when I won the World Amateur, I beat James Watton in the quarter-final, beat Elaine Robidoux in the semi-final.
Wow.
And then I beat the late Joe Grech in the final from Malta.
Not even a good shot. See, that's where he's like.
Well, it was.
I mean, I brought the black into play.
I know you've impressed me there with that one. To be fair, but the thing is, when you were on the receiving end all them years ago, you know, all them world championships and everything, because I think you beat me in 2 quarterfinals at the World. You beat me in a last 16 at the World. It was just unfortunate.
What was the one? We need to tell a story about Naseem Hamed. So Naseem Hamed is from Sheffield, and obviously he became a fan of mine. But as soon as Ronnie became better than me, he soon dropped me and went to Ronnie Sullivan. That was what happened. But while I was a fan of mine, he used to come and watch me, and they had the press box, didn't they? That they don't have anymore. No. Right by the table. I'm playing Darren. Go on, you.
Well, we've started off, just before we start off, he's walked in, haven't he? And him and his girlfriend, wife, whatever the lady was, they had these big silver puffer jackets on. I can still remember it now, yeah? And she, you know, not disrespect to him, and he was world champion, and she was stunning. And all I kept thinking was, 2 weeks ago, I just paid £15 to watch him fight on Sky, because I loved him as a fighter, yeah? But I knew he was in the box for you,
right?
Not for me. And then every shot you was playing and potting the ball, he was on the thing going, and I'm sat in my chair over there, and I'm getting wound up. And it come to the interval, and when we got the interval, it was Andy Yates, and I said, listen, he's putting me off. I said, I'm around the black spot. I said, and there he is by there, and I've just paid. I said, you need to move him. You need to move him from there.
To be honest, the silver jacket was putting me off a little bit as well. But you know,
she went. She said, "Yeah, but he's world champion. I can't." I said, "I don't care." I said, "If one of my guests was to come along now and sit there, what would he do?" She said, "They wouldn't be able to sit there." I said, "Right." So he's with Stephen. Yeah. So I said, "I want him ousted out." So I said, if you don't oust him out, I'm not coming back out to play. It's as easy as that. So you take your pick. What are you going to do now? I said, because I ain't playing with him in the front row. And then they had the one main commentary box, and then they always have another one that was by the side they used to use like for over bits, just on the left.
Yeah.
So they stuck him in there and turned the lights on. So now he's sat in there with his puffer jacket and looking down on me. Anyway. Yeah, enough said about that. And then the year after was the funny bit, because they've done a radio interview live in the press room.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Naseem's on the line. I haven't got a clue. Right. So they're asking me questions, saying, you know, what are you thinking, blah, blah. And I said, listen, I paid to watch him play, and I think he's fantastic, but I didn't want him in the front row. He's putting me off. And the next thing is he chirps up and he says, well, I tell you what. And I said, hang on, is that Naseem on the other? And now they're all laughing, all the press. And he said, my next fight, you can come to the front row. And he said, you can see if you can put me off. So he said, what do you think to that? And I said, I tell you what you can do with your 2 tickets. You stick them where the sun don't shine. And then as I finished it, I went, no, I'll take you up on the tickets, because I said, if your opponent doesn't do a good enough job on it, I'll jump in the ring and I'll finish the job. So he started, obviously we started having a chuckle, because I had to... So the year after, in Dave Fisher's office, I'm on the radiator, he walks in and he stands and he looks at me, he says, all right? And I've gone, all right? He's gone, you got a problem with me? And I've looked at him, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do here now? And I've looked at him and I said, just because you're, and this is exactly as it was, I said, just because you're a short ass don't think I won't come over there and put you on your... He laughed, he came over to give me an hug, and that was the end of it. Next thing, he was on FaceTime to my good lady.
Oh, quality.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah. Right. What would be something that, obviously, we were in the same stable, as it were, management, and it grew and grew and grew bigger and bigger, didn't it? I asked Nigel this. It wasn't the same, really, was it, as it was in the beginning? When there was too many players, it wasn't the same.
I remember losing to Nigel in a match in Blackpool, because me and Nigel, a bit like we used to be, really best friends.
Yeah.
And then Nigel, we've kept in contact.
Yeah.
And I remember losing to Nigel in Blackpool, and Ian bringing me into the office and saying, not happy. So you can't be losing to donkeys like him, yeah? And I've gone, huh? He's not a donkey. He said he's a donkey, and you can't be losing to players like him. 3 months later, he signed him. So I'm living in Scotland with you then, because we used to play every day. I stayed with Lee Doyle in his flat. And then I went back into his office, because he was just tucked behind your room, and I went, oh, see, you signed that donkey then?
How many years were you with them?
About 16. The last 2 years as a pro, I went on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you are right. As it got bigger, it changed.
You mentioned your late father. He was your biggest supporter, wasn't he? What a character he was.
When he went,
some of the stories you used to tell me about him in crowds when you were playing as an amateur was hilarious.
The cue I actually won the World Amateur with, it was a Joe Davis 600 plus cue, so it had the little white splices up in the thing. Right. And I remember because the cue I played with before that was a Joe Davis 147, was my dad's.
Right. And
we used to be, like fathers and sons do, you'd argue and you'd be at each other's hammer and tongue.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't shut up, I'm going to do something that'll hurt you, and it will hurt you. And I went, there's nothing you can do, being big, you'll hurt me. And we used to have one of them old metal cases that you clip on with a padlock. And he said, there's not, is there? I went, no. And he went and got my cue that was in one of them cases. He said, are you sure? I went, no. And he just snapped it over his knee in half. And then I've looked at him and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe he's done this. So I was totally in bits, I had no cue. Landed up buying a 25-pound Joe Davis 600 plus cue. Knocking about with it. I went home one day and I said, I can't play with this. It's rubbish. I cannot play with it. He said, you can't play with it? I went, no. So he said, follow me. Took me into the back garden, and we had a peat bed. Yeah, my mother was a keen gardener. Yeah. And they had this little peat bed, and he went, you sure now you can't play with it? I went, no. And he went like that with the cue, and he went whap straight into this peat bed, and the cue sunk to about with there, and he was just doing that. He said, well, if you can't play with it, we'll grow some runner beans up it. So I've looked at him, like, what do? You just, So I took the cue out, I've cleaned it all up, polished it and all this, and 3 months later I won the World Amateur with it.
Well, he must have been the proudest man, though, when you won that, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Was he there when you won it? Was it was in India, wasn't it?
It was Bangalore, yeah.
Bangalore, yeah.
I'd never been abroad before, so it was a big thing for me,
Yeah.
So, no, but they were proud. When I come home, they were there. There was a big brass band waiting when we got back, and then my nan used to live next door to us. So we lived in 13 Penthune Street, she lived in 11.
Right.
And this World Amateur Cup, it was a big box. And then the big silver, it's a bit like, I think it's like the Australian tennis, or the one with the big handles that come out. So it was like that. And obviously I got out, I had the turban on, because they give me a turban. So they said, when you get out of the car now, you've got to have the turban on and all this. So yeah, no problem. So I put it on, got the car. My nan ran up to me. So I've got the cup like that. And as she ran up and give me an hug, the box is still in my hand, and the cup have gone straight over her shoulder and bounced on the pavement of the road, and all the big hands had all caved in. So it's like I've gone from total joy to, oh my God, I've just ruined their cup.
Oh, how old were you then?
Yeah, 21.
21.
Yeah, 21.
And then that's when you decided to turn pro.
Yeah, yeah. That I was already number one in the pro tickets.
Yeah.
So that was good. But then I still had to play at bottom pro. I can't remember who the fellow was I supposed to pay. And lucky
so to get to be a pro, you had to play the guy at the bottom guy. I forgot about that system.
Yeah, the top 8 in the pro tickets, sort of, they played the bottom 8 pros, and then the English amateur champion and the world amateur champion as well. So I think it was the bottom 10 you had to play. And the person I had, I can't remember his name, but he said he didn't want to play. But if he'd said, I want to play, and then he'd beaten me in a best of 19 match, I'd have had to done it all over again. Oh. So I went in then as world amateur champion, and they went down the rankings, and Darren Clark, then he moved up to 8th place.
Do you remember? I remember when I turned pro and first played as a tournament, and there was such a huge difference playing in pro tournaments as amateur tournaments. Did you find that? Conditions and tables, everything.
A young lad plays in my club now called Dylan Hendry. He's just come on the pro tour now. He's got his ticket back. He done a spell on there, dropped off, and now he's back. And I just say to him, like, when he's practicing, you practice like you're going to play in a match, and you think you've got loads of time on your hands, but you haven't. So you make hay when the sun shines. So you've got to do it now. But it is different because, like you said, you go like I'm playing back amateur. I play in all the Welsh events. The table, I got a snooker club. I'd like to think mine are club tables, but they're nice club tables. I look after them. I recloth them every single year. Yeah. Some of them have 2 cloths on, but that's because I got a snooker background.
Yeah.
It's not good business sense.
No.
It's not good business sense at all. But some of the conditions are absolutely shocking.
Can you remember the first sort of big name that you beat as a pro?
I'd like to say it was either Neil Foles or Cliff Thorburn.
All right.
It was one of them, again, in Blackpool at the qualifiers. Yeah. I would like to say that, but obviously I turned pro in 88. And then I played in the Mitre World Masters, which I think was about 89 or 90.
Right.
And I made the semis, and I beat Mike Allerton now, and I beat Steve Davis in it. So I had a couple of good wins within a couple of years.
I always remember the British Open in Derby when we had the open draw. John McCurrick did the draw every round. And I don't know what order it was, but you beat me or Steve, and then the open draw came, and then you drew me or Steve in the second round. It was like...
Well, we played me and you. It was me and you first. Okay. So obviously my record wasn't great with you. Yeah. You turned me over in loads of stuff. So when I beat you, it's like, oh my God, great! I've won a match. I'm gonna have a bit of a run now. And I think you was world number 2, and Steve Davis was world number 1. If you'd beaten me, you was going to world number 1.
Oh, really?
And then Ian came up to me and said, you've probably cost Stephen now the world. And then when the draw came out, and then I drew Steve, he said, you better do him a favour now. And I was 4-1 up.
Right.
So it looks like I'm going to win. And I landed up losing 5-4 to him.
Oh, you lost to Steve?
I lost.
I thought you beat both of us. Sorry.
That was, I think, Bob Chaperon. I think Bob Chaperon went on to win it. That was the one he won, yeah.
Bob Chaperon, God. But no, we had spent a lot of time together. We went on holiday together, didn't we?
We did.
To Spain and everything. That was funny.
Not that you'd want to hear about this. I was usher at your wedding as well, so you must have thought something of me at one time.
No. We were good friends. I mean, I'd still like to think we're still friends,
we are.
Darren.
Yeah, we are.
But
I just got a bit grumpy here and there, didn't I?
We all have our moments. Don't worry. So do you still enjoy playing snooker?
Yeah. Look. If I wasn't doing snooker, if I wasn't involved in something, what would I be doing? It's like with the club, people say, yeah, nothing changes. Look, that's in his pomp. He was like that. Yeah. Well, if I didn't have the club, what would I be a bit of a boring life, really. I got a good bunch of.
Get him up again.
I got a good bunch of members. I'm there every day. If I'm not in the club, I'm in. Obviously, we've got a trophy business and an embroidery and print business and whatever. If I'm not doing that, I'm in the club.
How long have you had the club?
I've had the club since 2002. But when I retired from snooker, you know, from the pro game, as far as I was concerned, I was done. That was it. I wasn't going to be playing.
What year did you retire? I
finished the day after my 40th birthday. I sent my resignation letter because I was still in the top 64.
I was going to say that. Where were you ranked?
I was ranked about 62, 63.
Right.
And my wife begged me. She said, "Don't." I was going to send it on my 40th. She said, "Don't remember your 40th birthday. It's a landmark thing." She said, "Do it there." So I did. And then we went to Forthright on holidays. And I had a phone call off the WPBSA. I think it was Jessica Coles, I think. And she just said, "Look, I got this resignation letter in, I think." She said, "You realise you're still in the top 64, don't you?" I said, "I think, yeah, she said, "Yeah." She said, "So I just chuck it in the bin?" And I went, "No." I said, I've retired for a reason. Thank you very much. My letter says it all. I've had a fantastic time. But I no longer just want to be someone that just makes the numbers up.
Right, okay.
To pinch a couple of quid.
So it's similar really to me retiring. Because you couldn't play the way you wanted to play, you weren't enjoying it, and then so you don't want to play. That's kind of similar along my lines.
I right away from the word go, you all like to think you're capable of winning everything, yeah? You don't. Only certain players. You was one, Ronnie was one, Davis was one, Trump now I suppose, he's doing it. So there's only a certain few of them can win as prolifically as they do. Everybody else will get a bit of success and then a lot of disappointment and a bit of success. Yeah. But I always said to myself, the minute I felt that I couldn't turn up at a tournament and if I hit my game, I couldn't win, I didn't want to be there.
Right, okay.
And when I finished, I thought no matter how well I could play, it wasn't good enough to win.
Yeah.
You know, I only won...
You might have a plant there, but...
I don't play plants.
How long before you made that were you thinking about it?
About 6 years.
Was it really?
Yeah. If I'm being brutally honest, the minute I lost my dad, it was game over for me. That was.
That's quite similar to Steve. Steve wasn't interested in playing competitive.
I lost my mother in in 96, and then 6 months today I lost my dad, and he was the driving force. And if I'm honest, I just went through the motions for 9 years. I did have the odd little bit of success here and there. I think I won the Pontins Professional. I better get that brown out. I won the Pontins Professional, I think, in 2000, and I made a quarter-final of the UK in 88 or 89. But I think a semi-final in China, or it was either China or Thailand in 2002. So there was little glimpses that it was...
What do you think was lacking then? Because it was something I admired about you. You had confidence in your own ability that you could beat anyone.
That's never diminished. The problem with it was, and again, this goes back to young Dylan in my club and a couple of other boys that playing in there. My own worst enemy was myself.
Right.
So I would look for a problem that wasn't there.
Right.
So I could be playing as well as anybody, hitting it great, feeling great, but then suddenly, my ferrule's wrong, the tip is wrong, or the flat on their knees. I just used to sabotage myself.
Right, okay.
So it stopped me really from doing what I needed to do. Everybody will say it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to personal things. I know as an amateur, before I turned pro, I achieved as much as I could possibly achieve. As a professional, if I was being brutally honest with myself, I think for how good I was, I've underachieved by a mile. But that's my opinion. Other people will disagree with that. It was close. Close, but no cigar.
Close.
And then I've had an amateur career since, which was unexpected. And again, I've achieved as much as I could possibly think of achieving, especially in the Masters category and everything else.
I mean, we're obviously in Reading today doing this, and you're playing in the 900, so you still enjoy, obviously, the competitive side of snooker. Still enjoy getting your cue out to play.
Yeah, I do, but obviously it's when you play 3 or 4 hours a month in practice, if you've got something coming up and everything, it's sort of, and you'll know that more than anybody, if you're not on the table all the time, you could turn up, like you've played that red day and it's gone in clean as a whistle, but you could play it and hit a foot up the cush.
Oh yeah. I mean, any given day, I don't know how I'm going to play, if I'm going to put 2 balls in a row or I'll make a century, because you don't.
So it's exactly the same with me. I still enjoy being involved. I still love the thrill. I love the thrill of winning. because I've always been competitive. And then when you win the European, because I've won about 28 European titles, I suppose, over the last 14, 15 years, and about 11 world titles. It's great to win, but 15 minutes after you've won, it's gone. It's like it's flat as a pancake again. It's like what's next. So I enjoy the actual picking the trophy up at the end, because they've come very fast and furious for me. But I probably haven't enjoyed the playing side of it as much as you would think so with how much I've won.
Yeah. Is there any matches that you think you wish you could play again, or any shots?
Well, one, and you know what that is.
What's that?
97 Irish Masters, when I potted the red down the cush against you in the final, and the white has finished there on the pink. I've missed the pink, and then you've dished yellow to black to win by 3 points. Even now, we got the video, and I can't watch it. And that was 97. That's the one, because my father was in the crowd for that, and then a month later he passed. So if that had gone my way, he'd have seen me, because he didn't come with me for the last 10 years of my career, because obviously my mother was fighting cancer and was ill. So I lost him as a sort of a travel buddy. Yeah. So obviously with losing my mum, his head was in a jar. He came away. The snooker sort of helped him a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that then, and then a month later, I'd just beaten Ronnie in the Worlds, just after he hit that fastest 147.
Oh, you played him in the next round?
I played him, and then I had you then, the next round after, and you beat me, it was either 13-10 or 13-11. And my dad was in the crowd for that, up in the balcony, and then 2 days later, he passed, you know, so it was like a double whammy, really.
Would Crucible be your favourite venue?
Only because it's the World Championship. If someone said to me which venue did I prefer when there was a full crowd in there and the atmosphere, it'd have been Goffs.
Yeah, Goffs was amazing.
Yeah, when the people could stand on the balconies.
Yeah.
Obviously, health and safety now, they wouldn't allow it, so it'd be different. But I would always give it to the Crucible simply because it's the World Championship.
You do a bit of commentating now, don't you? A bit of punditry. Do you like that?
I've done the Welsh Open probably for BBC for probably the last 20 to 25 years. I did do the UK once or twice. I did the World Championship once or twice. I've done a little bit for Eurosport in time gone by, but I still love doing the Welsh because it's sort of my once a year. I get to see old friends and catch up and still feel like you're still part of it.
Would you prefer comms or studio? I cannot put above with the rest.
The studio is good. If you like seeing your face on telly, I'm not one of them. So if you like seeing your face on telly, and the studio is where you want to be because you get a lot of airtime with it. But you're sat in the studio. So if the televised show is from 1 o'clock till 5:30, you're in that studio from 12 until 5:30. Yeah. In the commentary box, you might be doing one match. It might be 4-0. It's all over. It's finished with. So it depends really on how fickle you are. If you like seeing yourself.
I tend to think when you're in comms, it's a bit you feel more involved in the match. Studio can be difficult if it's not a good match and they keep coming back to you after end of frame. You've got to think of something to say about it, and it's not a lot to say. Yeah, that's what I find studio different. Where commentary, you can just speak on what you see.
But no, I do enjoy it, and obviously, like I said, that once a year it keeps me involved. And
I mean, I don't obviously watch because it's Welsh TV. I don't see it. But what kind of are you feel free to criticise the players? Are you quite like forthright or?
I remember once Ronnie was playing. Who was he playing? And he put something over his head, so he couldn't watch him playing. That was in the Welsh, and I said something, and then also I tell you who he was playing. He was playing. That was the one day, but he was playing Mark Williams in another match. I think it was the semi-final, and he chucked the balls up with 10 reds on. So he conceded the game. Obviously, you do it now, you get fined, don't you? Yeah. But he did it then, and then I put on a thing. I said, well, I feel sorry for everybody that's had a bet on this game, because they might have bet Ronnie to take 2 frames or to win them or whatever, and he's just giving frames away like they're going out of fashion. Yeah. I said, bit like a child. He's thrown his toys out of the pram. Right. So it all went out, obviously. Well, then as I'm walking, so it was in Newport, this was, and you know the little corridor where the toilets was? And he's walking. He said, can I have a word? Yeah, so we went in the toilets and we had words.
Really?
Oh yeah, we had words, yeah. He was strong with his words and I was strong back. Right. You know, and I said, you act like, you know, I'm there to do a job. Yeah. So I'm going to see it as it is. I said, was you being like a petulant child and chucking your toys out the pram? And even whether I was or not, you didn't need to say that. I said, well, I'm there. They're paying me to do a job and that's it. So he laughed. He laughed at it then after the awkwardness went. And it's funny, a couple of years later then, I was in Cardiff and he was practicing on a table next to the studio. And he came up to me and he went, got a lot of respect for you. He said, I've always had a lot of respect for you. He said, you don't care. You don't care. You say it as it is. He said, I remember that time with you, blah, 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 with me. And he said, to be fair, you was right. But he said, I didn't like it because it went out, you know. But he said, you didn't care. You didn't shy away from it. Oh, wow. Gonna have to leave you a long one, Steve.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Hopefully you're snookered.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, the good old days. Remember Ian Doyle finding me £1,000 for misuse of a tomato ketchup bottle?
What?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it vaguely.
In a restaurant, and I was trying to get.
Because you were going like that.
Oh yeah, because I couldn't get the sauce out, and then he said you can't use your knife. I took the lid off, and I wanted to stick the knife down, and he said you can't. He was too posh for that. You can't do that. You can't do that. So I said, what am I supposed to do? And he said, will you ask him for tomato? So I asked for another bottle. They give me another bottle. They come back. I tried it. It wouldn't come out. So I went, oh God. So I've just turned it upside down, and I gone bang. And because we were in a posh restaurant, he said, I've just fined you £1,000 for that.
He didn't really, though, did he?
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah, no, I got fined £1,000 for it. Yeah. Oh, nice camp that was.
Did you tell your dad? Was your dad alive then? Did you tell your dad about that? What did he think of that? He must have gone mental, didn't he?
Because I used to say, it was funny, right? Look, we can speak about it now because it doesn't matter. It's water under the bridge. But I used to say to him, my dad used to think the sun shone out of Ian Doyle and everything else. And immaterial what I thought and everything else, I had a great relationship with him for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I suppose I looked at him like a role model and a second sort of father figure in the fact that I trusted him with all my affairs and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I used to say to my dad, I said, look, every time I got to play Stephen, I said, it's like the Dirty Tricks Brigade. I said, because they do something to wind me up, to get me at it before it. Well, I got to do an interview I don't want to do, or I got to, whatever it is, they cause an argument with me. Something will happen, so as I'm not on it, yeah? And he'd say, no, it's nothing like that. No way. But then when he came to the Crucible, he seen it the one night when we played the last time at the Crucible.
Yeah.
We went out for a meal.
Right.
And I'm 5'3" up on you.
And we went for a meal together?
Yeah, we went for a meal together. Me, you, Ian, my dad and everything. It was when the Naseem thing. Yeah?
Right, okay.
So we're in the meal, and then Ian sat there, and he's going, no one's going to beat Stephen this year. He's absolutely playing fantastic. And we're eating this meal, so I'm taking it for a bit, and I'm letting it go, and I'm thinking, and then he's saying, oh, God, he's hitting the ball so good and everything. And then I've looked at him, I said, whoa, we've got to stop this. We're stopping this right now. I said, listen, I'm in the middle of it. I should have known better coming out for a meal with him and with you. I'm in the middle of the match, and I'm 5'3" up, and you're telling me how good he's playing. What's this all about? So when we came up, my dad said, I see what you mean, son. He said, we'll leave at the end of this year and I will look after all your affairs going forward. Really? And that was the plan. We were going to leave. And then obviously he passed away and that didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, he was difficult. I mean, he probably was,
I loved
biggest influences on my career.
I tell you now,
it wasn't easy going.
I tell you now, I loved the man mind. At the end, it got a bit bitter with certain things which we won't go into now. But it got bitter and everything. The last thing I told him to do was stick it up as far as he could shove it. Yeah, and that was the end of it. I have met up with him once since, and I have given him an hug. and I've let bygones be bygones, yeah?
We have to, I mean, since we're on the subject of camps and everything, when I did the video with Nigel Bond, the subject did come up about our sponsorship with Sweater Shop.
I thought that I'd miss our yellow because you mentioned that.
I thought I'd do an Ian Doyle trick. I thought I'd do an Ian Doyle trick.
I know.
We told the story about when Sweater Shop would let us go into our local establishment and pick some items.
Yeah.
I didn't pick very many because I didn't really like them.
Well, I remember because Lord Brockett used to do this. So when Nigel said on the Q-tips, there was Edinburgh Castle we were in. It was somewhere else. We were in Lord Brockett.
Taking pictures in the snow and everything. Yeah.
And then we went to Mallory Park, didn't we, on the day out with the racing cars and everything. And when we were having the meal, the DeZills, who owned Sweater Shop, said to me, right, you're all going to the shop tomorrow now to pick a load of gear up. Just pick what you want. So I said, don't tell me that, because if you tell me that, I'll park a van outside and I'll fill the van up. And they went, have you got any brothers or sisters? I said, I got 2 brothers and I got a sister. They said, would they wear it? I went, yeah, of course they will. And it's free, of course they, yeah. He said, would your dad wear it? I said, my dad would probably wear the jumpers, wouldn't wear nothing else. But he would wear, he said, go there, take what you want. I said, you sure? He said, absolutely, go there. So I did. So I took about 120 items, which is a lot. Yeah. But I looked at it. I was kitting out my 2 brothers, sister, and my dad, as well as me with it, yeah? So Nigel, who on your Q-tips thing, could have put the story right, and he didn't, and he just let me get thrown under the bus. Nigel took about 100 items. I think Joe Johnson took about 70, 80, so did Mike. So I was only a little bit out of the ballpark. Anyway, Ian Doyle phones my late mother, and he's speaking to her, and my mother got really upset. Really emotional over it and really upset over it. Because it was as good as saying, you stupid, I'm a thief, yeah? So I was fuming. So I put every single item back in the boot of the car. I phoned up, I think it was Graham who was the manager of the factory, and I said, can you please have the DeZills at your base? I'm on my way back, it's going to take me about 2.5 hours to get to Leicester. I will be there. So I got there. And he came out and the DeZills wasn't there. And now I'm crying with temper, right? I'm fuming and crying with temper. And I opened the boot, I took everything out and I stuck it on the pavement of the road. I said, I can't believe they haven't turned up after what they've done last night. And the way they've done this with the manager made me out to be something. My mother's really upset, my father's upset. I said, there's all your items. Give them a message. And the message is this. They don't own me, they sponsor me. That's it. I'm providing a service for them and they're providing me with clothing and they're paying me whatever they're paying me. But they don't own me. So I said, there's all your stuff. Stick it. I don't want any more sponsorship with you. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. But no one's accusing me of... And that's what, so after you did your thing with Nigel, I sent you a little message.
Yes.
As you knew I would. Yeah. And I sent Nigel one. And then he said, I thought he might be a bit miffed. I said, thanks for throwing me under the bus for not correcting it.
The old Sweater Shop.
I like the stuff.
I used to, they weren't happy with me sometimes because I used to always just pick plain colours. I didn't like all the jazzy stuff. The
pictures we did, the stuff they put us in for the pictures and now, you didn't get a pick, they just, you know.
With pictures with Lord Lichfield and everything. It was, yeah. Oh. Okay, have you ever seen the Tough Table Challenge?
I've seen a few of them, yes.
Right, okay, Ali Carter is the leader at the moment, 89. We'll give you 2 or 3 chances, but you can start wherever you want.
Okay.
And basically put as many balls as you can. Did you do Big Break?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did Big Break, yeah.
Yeah, I've done about 10 shows. That was a good laugh, the Big Breaks.
Yeah.
It was good.
1. I don't like to talk while you're doing this, but I was just noticing you're one of the few, not many people use maple. You've used that your whole career, haven't you, maple?
I have, but it's funny, I've only gone back to this about 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Because...
that's John Paris, yeah?
It's a John Paris Ultimate, but obviously you can see the green splice and the tulip green splice. That's where each job has been done over the years.
Ah, okay.
And then the last job I had done with this, when it was done, all the balance changed, the cue was dead, it was terrible. So I went to an ash cue, and I played with it for about 14 months, the last 2 years. And I was that bad. I bought an A-ball table for the club because I thought whatever I got left, I'm going to swap over to A-ball. I'm going to get an A-ball cue and forget the snooker because it was rubbish.
Okay.
I had someone do a job on it for me, and they said they could rebalance the cue, which they did. I had it back, and I've been a different player again with it since I've had it back. So the A-ball sort of thing has been knocked on the head.
9. Oh. $16. Shot. 17. $22.
Actually thought I'd missed that one then.
Well, you paused what was wrong. I thought you'd missed it as well.
Yeah.
$23. $30. $31. $38. I want to mention one of my favourite stories with you, but I want you to concentrate, so I will in a minute. $39. Shot. 46. Starting to get a bit trickier.
Yeah.
Shot. 47.
You got into that a bit good.
You're hitting it well.
Yeah. For an old fart.
Shot. 53. $54. I'm glad to see you've left all the difficult ones still.
Well, you know, go a different route, innit? But you are right. Now it gets a bit.
It'd be a good clearance from here. Shot. Very good. 61. $62.
Oh no!
Oh, don't! Oh! Can we take the other red out? 66.
Nah, I wish.
Shot. 67. You got to risk it.
Yeah, got to risk it. Now or never. Oh no!
70.
Try to get the back of it.
Shot. 71. Great shot. Get it. 78. No?
No. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, unlucky. 78. Great effort.
Yeah.
Remember when Peter Ebdon beat me in the Masters and went mental at the crowd before he'd even bought the blue, he's giving it this. So you beat him the following year, haven't you? And you've given it maximum.
So we'll do a thing, right? 'Cause it went to respotted black. I had chance after chance after chance to win it, and I couldn't get over the line anyway. I potted the respotted black, right?
Yeah. Just to start, so Peter Ebdon in the Masters has beat me. So he potted the brown. Cue ball's landed here, so obviously he can't miss the blue, but he started going mental, like fists in the air, shouting, come on, come on, before he even potted game ball. So like that got my nose up a little bit. But anyway, the next year you got it back from me.
Yeah, well, it obviously I potted the black to go 6'5". So you imagine now where the gentleman is, but there with the camera. So he's coming over to shake my hand. I've just potted the black, right? And I'm like this, and I'm screaming at him in his face again. I'm going, yeah! I'm giving it all that, right? And then as I shake his hand, I've gone like this.
Yeah.
I've shook his hand, I put him in, I've gone, yes! Like that, as I've walked off. Honest to God, life, because I was that wound up. There was three girls sat behind me all match, and the 3 girls sat behind me all match. I can't say what they were calling me, because it wouldn't be right on air. Yeah. But all they were saying, you got a long way back to Wales, you're Welsh.
Right.
Yeah? Something to do with sheep, and you know the rest of it, yeah? So I had this, because that Benson Hedges, the Masters there, it was a big walk, wasn't it? From the chair to the table. Yeah. Huge walk. So for me, by the time I get in back play shot, it was just, anyway.
Yeah.
So when I did that, part of it was your money doubled. Yeah. So I'd never won a match there until that match with him. Right. So that part of it was that, and the other part was I got dropped out of a couple of tournaments when I was top 8 in the world, and Peter had been put in.
Right. Okay.
So there was a little bit of needle, we'd say.
Yeah, okay.
And I played him in Reading, and there was girls sitting in the crowd going, had these shirts on, go Ebo, go Ebo. And then a couple of times he did to me what he did to someone at the Crucible. He potted, say, a black to win a game, and then lay on the floor.
Oh yeah,
giving it all that.
Yeah.
And all I had in my head was, what goes around comes around. But I didn't mean it to be anywhere near as bad as it was. Yeah. Obviously, because the players' lounge used to be downstairs.
Yeah.
And when I walked down, I thought,
got a bit.
I'm going to get some grief when I go in there. And when I went in, they all give me a standing ovation. Everybody got up, and they all was going, you've just given him a bit of his own medicine. He'll think twice before doing that again. So anyway, as you're going outside, you had to do the autograph signing, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
A big queue would stand, and he would be there. And then these 3 girls come up, and I never refused an autograph in my life, bar for this. They come up and they said, well done, Darren. Fantastic. You played fantastic. Fantastic result. Can we have your autograph, please? And I said, yeah, of course you can, girls. Of course you can. But you've got a long way back to Wales to get it. So I wanted them to know that I'd heard everything they had said, and that was how that story came about. So
absolute legend.
Stephen,
absolute
pleasure.
Legend.
A pleasure.
Brilliant.